let me just say this. Do I think that Trump beat Biden? Yes, I really do. I'm a progressive. I am I have a college degree in journalism, as a matter of fact. But I'm telling you, first of all, Biden didn't beat Bernie, and Biden did not beat Trump. Look at the rallies that Bernie and Trump both have. They have 30, 40,000 people come and see them in every single state. Where did you get that for Biden? There wasn't one state where more than 10 people would show up for him. He's just like Hillary Clinton. They don't have any supporters. You have to pay the people to show up for them. They did not beat anybody. Well, Hillary, I guess she forgot how to cheat. I don't really know what her problem was. She should have beat him. I don't think she expected him to win in the states that he did. Otherwise, she would have cheated there too. But I don't think she did because she didn't think she had to in those certain states that she thought she had already. Anyway, but I know Biden did. There is no way that man beat anybody. Check it out. Does he have any rallies? No. Does he have anybody going door to door for him? No. Does he have anything to offer the American people? No. Does anybody really know who he is? No. He's an unknown. He's the author of the crime bill that everybody hates. He's never apologized for it. He was the one that ran the Anita Hill trial so terribly and let them treat her like shit. Did he ever apologize for that? No. As a matter of fact, he tells his own supporters when they call him out for things like that, he just goes, oh, maybe you need to go vote for Trump then. You know what happens when you tell people that? They usually do. And I'm sorry. All of that together and them saying to the progressives in their own party to kiss their ass because they're not going to do anything for them means nobody's going to show up for them. Sorry. Everybody stayed home. That was a progressive. I know I did. If I did go vote for somebody, it would have been to vote for Trump just to spite them. You know, I'm still on the spite train. Sorry, but I am, because I'm so pissed off that they put these terrible nominees up against somebody who is supposed to be such a terrible threat to us. If he's such a terrible threat, then why are you putting such a terrible candidate up against him? And then telling us all to fuck off, basically. Slapping us in the face and telling us you don't need us. Okay, so, do I know they cheated? No, I can't prove it. Neither can Trump. So Trump needs to leave the White House. He can't prove any of that happened. But did it? It could have. It very well could have. We have these machines where you can hack them by being in front of them. You can do them. You can hack them online. You can have it flip votes, change votes from one to the other, take a percentage of votes, whatever you want to do. Delete and start over. Doesn't matter. Add 1 million votes. Doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want because there's no paper trail and there's no way to audit them. But our election boards have known about those machines since at least 2016 because we've been bitching about it since then because of it happening to Bernie Sanders first. Here's what happened at those election board meetings.
But that's not what was there. But still, we were kept from looking at paper ballots. We were kept from looking at the touchscreen. There was a lot of hiding behavior on the part of the Board of Elections employees under the direction of Mr. Scanlon to keep us from seeing the actual votes that were being counted. And we object to that highly. There was nothing there that tied a vote to a voter, so we should have been able to witness it all and see it all. Number 3, we highly object to an audit where the answers to the tests, sirs, are sitting right there in front of the Board of Elections employees that are trying to count these ballots. So what we saw, and many of us saw, you'll hear time and time again, that what happened in reality, especially with the touchscreen machines, especially with the early voting machines, because there's lots of votes, okay?
Just so you have 1 more minute. Huh?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
You have 1 more minute.
Okay. Is that they, the auditors, the people that are doing the hand tallies of the votes, would miss votes, correct their tallies, erase their tallies to fit the prescribed recommended official results that the Board of Elections has right on their tally sheet. There's a lot of pressure, including their employment, that is pushing them towards complying with the Board of Elections results, and not just actually just reading the votes and tallying the votes. It's supposed to be a hand count of the votes, but that's not what happened. In we have got you. In your packet you have a bunch of affidavits, and in one particular egregious example of this, I was watching the hand count of an early voting machine, and at the end of it, they had to erase 21 Bernie Sanders votes and add 49 Hillary Clinton votes to force the hand count of the audit of this toilet paper roll to the recommended Chicago Board of Elections official results.
So, for example, I observed CBOE personnel rapidly adding tallies to their tally sheets for many candidates. This was towards the end of the day or in the middle of the day, specifically on the 28th I observed this, hurrying up just really quickly. I've never seen tallies done so fast. Going straight down the sheet for many candidates. In this particular instance, I felt that they were being pressured, or at least feeling the necessity to, or perhaps they just weren't being explained how to do it properly, to make sure that they got to that point and then they were basically done with the job. Now that's not really the way we do an audit. I don't think that that's really a credible way of believing that we've got a fair tally. Several personnel obstructed my vision of the paper ballots as they were being fed into the machines.
Excuse, can I just ask you, because have you done audits before, or are you, I just want to know?
I participated in other elections. I have not done audits before, but I do have background in political science.
Okay, because you were saying that this isn't the way to do an audit, and I just didn't know whether you had any experience previously to form the basis for it.
Logically, I don't think it makes sense to have a number at the beginning and say, what we believe, the CBOE believes that their goal is to reach 101 votes, for example, for this candidate, and then have auditors, personnel of the CBOE, stopping once they reach that number. That just doesn't seem like, I mean, I don't have a professional background in auditing. Logically, as a citizen, that doesn't seem to make much sense. And I figured that would probably mean something to you guys, because we're all working towards the same goal, right? So.
And they had the opportunity to observe when we did this. So I would respectfully disagree with Ms. Chamberlain as far as any intention to try to manipulate the results of the 5% audit. That was certainly not the case.
And we will look at the affidavits
And I would like to respond to that quickly.
Well, I think at this point...
I would like to respond to that quickly, because what happened is because Mr. Scanlon said that we were not to see the tapes, we were not to see the, the ballots. He was going to flip over the ballots. He gave a general indication to the Board of Elections employees that we were not to see anything except what he specifically allowed us to see. So the Board of Elections employees were counting out the ballots like this and hiding their tally sheets. This was observed by everybody there.
Good afternoon. My name is Nico House. I would like to commend everyone else who stood up here and in their nicest voices begged you and asked you, because I'm not that nice. Now, I was in the military, and one thing they tell you is that the person who signed the check is the boss. The person who pays the money is the boss. And so as a taxpayer, I am now standing here in front of all these cameras and the American people and say, shut the fucking election down until everything is taken care of.
Nico, you have to leave. You have to leave.
Okay, so here's the deal. Because you're going to take away from I have a pretty powerful voice.
You can't curse.
I'm fine. No more vulgarity. No more vulgarity. No more vulgarity.
Next speaker. I'm not going to
So here's the deal.
Jose Venegas.
You want to stand here and believe that you can't go to a Republican that, but when the Democrats switch registration, all of a sudden nobody gets fired. Oh, okay, so you're going to look at us as citizens and say we're morons. You're going to insult the people who elected you and really look at us and tell us that you shouldn't be standing out here with us. Just as mad. You're going to look at each and every one of these people and explain why you're not mad that democracy is dying.
It has been moved and seconded that the temporary convention rules be passed by the body. All those in favor say aye. I'll take a motion to accept the PLEOs and the large delegates as submitted by the campaigns. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Is there a
What a
second?
bitch.
All those in favor say aye.
No. No. She fucking passed it before we even said nay. She passed it before we even spoke.
She did not allow a vote.
Nay. No.
This is back to the Las Vegas Sun now. In total, 1,693 delegates and alternates showed up to support Clinton on Saturday, while 1,662 turned out for Sanders. All alternates were seated as delegates because not all of the delegates for each candidate showed up. Now, this is unusual because normally the Sanders people are more enthusiastic and they show up at greater rates, and that's why he won the counties when honestly he didn't have as many delegates as Hillary Clinton because she had won the election. I know this is super confusing, right? But it turns out, if you look at further, no, actually more Bernie Sanders people did show up to the state convention. Just not all of them were counted. So that's where it takes an even more disastrous turn. Several Sanders supporters, however, put together what they called a minority report of 64 Sanders supporters they believe were wrongly denied delegate status. According to the state party representatives, 6 of those were eventually allowed as delegates, and the rest were denied delegate or alternate status because either they or their records could not be located or they were not registered as Democrats by the May 1st deadline. Now, just to be fair, 8 Clinton supporters were also denied delegate or alternate status for similar reasons, according to the state party. But you can see that there's a big disparity in numbers there. And did those 58 people who were denied status make the difference in who won at the state convention? And the answer unequivocally is yes.
A website called TDMS Research has gotten a hold of the pre-adjusted exit polls in the Democratic primary elections. Pre-adjusted means before the research company alters the exit polls to fit the unaccountable voting machine results. And in California, the exit polls showed something interesting. They showed Bernie Sanders should have done much better than the voting machines showed. In Texas, the exit polls showed something interesting. They showed Bernie Sanders should have done much better than the voting machines showed. But in Massachusetts, the exit polls showed something interesting. They showed Bernie Sanders should have done much better than the voting machines showed. However, in Vermont, the exit polls showed something interesting. They showed that Bernie Sanders should have done much better than the voting machines showed. Yet, in South Carolina, the exit polls showed something interesting. They showed Bernard Sanders should have done much better than the voting machines showed. However, in New Hampshire, the exit polls showed something interesting. They showed Bernie Sanders should have done much better than the voting machines showed. I wonder if you're noticing a trend! Sorry about that. Now, I've been warned by some in the election integrity community that I should not make too big a deal out of this. The exit polls are just an educated guess using a sample of the voters. And that makes total sense. Edison Research, the company that does these exit polls and has been doing exit polling for years, just totally sucks at exit polling. They're just like, what ifs, man, don't even care. Except in the Republican primary, where in 2016, the exit polls matched the machine results almost completely. Yes, exit polls are only incorrect on the Democratic side of the ballot. I see nothing wrong with that. And exit polls are only wrong in favor of Bernie Sanders, meaning in both 2016 and 2020, the exit polls always make it look like Bernie Sanders is going to do better than he ends up doing with the unaccountable voting machine results. And sure, Dallas County has asked to recount Super Tuesday's election results after 44 thumb drives full of votes were discovered uncounted. And those drives had 10% of the entire Dallas vote on them. But I see nothing wrong with that. This seemingly endless array of, fucked upness, which almost definitely points toward election fraud, prompted the Gray Zone and Code Pink to demand that emergency international election observers be dispatched to the United States because we are a banana republic. And I don't just mean a fake democracy, I mean the store, too. We're boring and stupid, and most of our success is based on child labor, just like the store. But, and I cannot stress this enough, really, I, of course, see nothing wrong with that. So when someone tells me, don't worry about the exit polls, they're just a guesstimation, even though our own government points to exit poll discrepancies in other countries as proof of fraud, my response to those people is, let me think about it. Yeah, go fuck yourself. You show me the hidden computer code, and then I'll stop talking about exit polls. You show me the raw data, and then I'll stop talking about exit polls. When they stop closing polling places in minority neighborhoods, stop purging minority and young people from the rolls, stop pushing provisional ballots on people, stop creating mystery apps and, well, what do you know, it doesn't work. Stop saying in court that the DNC has the right to rig the primary. And then, when you do that, then I'll stop talking about exit polls.
I have a feeling we might not ever get the exit polls for the general election, because if they cheated like I think they did, they are not going to want that proof floating around out there. So I bet that there's no exit polls being done this year, you know, because they'll say because of the mail-in votes that they can't do exit polls based on mail-in votes. So I'm sure that's going to be their excuse. Anyway, but are you going to ever convince me that Joe fucking Biden beat anybody? No. No, because he's a loser. He's always been a loser. And he's going to continue to be a loser. He's not going to do nothing for this country that's positive. He's going to be another Barack Hussein Obama with all kinds of promises and backed by absolutely nothing. Doing absolutely nothing for anybody but his own donors. That's it.